entrenched machine gun spit lead down on Dobral's comrades, the narrow street serving as a fatal funnel. The Grovok had been assaulting the human-held city for weeks now, and the resistance they faced was intense. The humans fought for their city with tooth and claw. Dobral's current situation was an example of that. "By the divine!" the foot soldier cried out as machine gun fire stitched the ground behind him as he took cover behind an overturned APC. The other foot soldiers continued to fire potshots at the fortified balcony, giving him cover. Dobrel could swear he saw a few tracers slam into the small cubbyhole around the machine gun's muzzle flash. But the heavy ballistic rounds kept coming. It was terrifying. What kind of immortal monstrosity was up there? Dobrel heard a lull in the human machine guns firing and darted out from behind the overturned APC and darted for a row of blasted concrete barricades. No machine gun fire followed him this time, and he breathed a sigh of relief when it started again, plumes of dust rising where the rounds impacted the other foot soldiers' cover. Taking the initiative, Dobrel ran out from behind cover and booked it for the doors beneath the balcony, bursting through by using his shoulder as a battering ram. Locating the stairwell, he cautiously made his way upwards, noting the empty casings and magazines that littered the steps. Raising his Gauss rifle, Dobrel stepped onto the second-floor landing and nudged the ajar door open. The hallway was empty, pristine, but the smell of blood and sulfur hung in the air. The racket of the machine gun loud even through Dobrel's headset as he crept towards the open door. Taking a deep breath, Dobrel swung into the doorway and froze. The human knelt in a pool of their own blood, throat torn open by a Gauss slug. But they still moved. The machine gun ran dry and the lifeless soldier reached for an empty belt box, groping blindly for a moment before they stopped, looked at their hand, and slowly keeled over to the side with an eerie silence. Dobrel cautiously moved forward, switching to thermals and scanning the body. He felt his heartbeat quicken as his display informed him the body was almost room temperature. Dobrel poked the body's arm with his Gauss rifle's muzzle. It moved easily. Dobrel heard his squad mates calling his name and he turned to leave the room. But something stopped him from taking his eyes off the dead man. He could have swore he'd seen those lifeless eyes flick towards him. Shaking his head clear, he left the room. Throughout his deployment, Dobrel witnessed these strange events almost weekly. A foot soldier would nail a human in the head with a Gauss slug and storm their position, only to round the corner and be staring down the barrel of that human's rifle. Room temperature corpses would seemingly only relax their grip on primed grenades when his men passed them. These events had Dobrel constantly on edge, double and triple taking at human corpses when he saw their eyes move or their fingers twitch. When they were finally able to take a human warrior alive, Dobrel had to know if the humans had some secret drug that allowed them to fight from beyond the veil. Even if it killed him, the grizzled human softly stared into Dobrel's four bloodshot eyes, puffing on a cigarette. Dobrel had asked the question minutes ago, but the human still hadn't replied. He was about to ask again when the human finally spoke. "You're telling me you think we have some kind of super serum that allows us to fight even when we're dead?" Dobrel nodded. The human just laughed and extinguished their cigarette, much to Dobrel's chagrin. But the human continued talking, leaving Dobrel hanging off every word. "No, there's no serum or drug or anything like that. No, it's far worse. You see, your people attacked a city with a mostly civilian population, so you're not just fighting humans here." The human chuckled darkly, long hair falling in front of their eyes as they leaned ominously forward. "You're fighting the spite that lives in every human's heart. Yes, you may kill a man, you can kill a man quite easily. But spite, anger, hatred, these things are unkillable. You may kill their host, drain it of its lifeblood and leave it to cool on the pavement. But you can't kill spite with bullets. You can't murder anger with a knife. And you most certainly can't burn away the hatred no matter how intense of a fire you use. Because the human leaned across the table and grabbed Dobrel by the shirt, about to scream something in his face. But Dobrel, already jumpy, drew his blaster pistol and fired a bolt through the human's chin, sending them reeling back as he stood and pressed himself flat against the wall. But the corpse wasn't done speaking yet as blood poured from its mouth, its voice ghastly and gargling. Even in death we still serve. Dobrel watched, horrified, as a silvery ring fell out of the human's hand. He slowly looked down at the red, blinking indicator on the death sphere attached to his utility webbing. The door whooshed open as Dobrel's security detail burst into the room. "No!" was all he could whimper before his world turned white.